She sits back there, and she doesn't say anything. She looks like she's not listening, you know. And next thing I know, she goes over and she's talking with another woman. It's sort of like Genesis, only there's two women. So she's talking to Marcy, and then Marcy they come back. Then they went over and they talked to Tom, and then they come back. And she said, you know, this is not a good idea for you to be a chauffeur. Now, I saw nothing wrong with it. I wanted to be a chauffeur so I could be home and be the single parent while my wife was off. See, very few people say what my wife's occupation was. And she was a plumber. See, my wife was a plumber, and I have my own car, and I'm a businessman. I know. Okay, so I said, okay, a doctor. I'll be a doctor, OBGYN. Because when I was in the Navy, I worked in the nursery while I was going to physical therapy school. So I know how to handle the babies, and I've seen quite a few births, and I can handle that. And the personality, and since Camille and I have 5 children, I've also dealt with what, you know, these babies look like. And then Claire said, okay, I don't know any doctors married to plumbers. I mean, even if you reverse it. So I said, okay, she's a lawyer. Well, Felicia Rashad can play anything, except one thing. She ruined the next whatever years of that series when she got married and, you know, she had sex. Yes. Unprotected. Didn't care about the series. And the next thing you know, she's, now we've got to do things. We put bags and all kinds of things. So what I lost was Cliff doing, when you watch the series, it's to the time when she's showing, that's when Cliff has to back off of doing things. Like when I would rub her feet. I don't know what season it was, but I will never forgive either one of them. and I just lost it because I knew I was doing things that you don't see on TV with my wife. The hugging of her, the rubbing of her shoulders, with the feet and sneaking into the bed and yee-haw, you know. Well, but now she's like this. As a matter of fact, they put a hole in the mattress so that she could sink down, and this would now be laid out like that. It was hard to do that, man. But what a glory. 8 years with Felicia, never an argument. She always knew everybody's lines by the end of the first reading. She was, and she is, just a magnificent person.
And the whole team was great on that show. I remember going to a taping across the street, and you had such a great writing staff, and the whole cast was incredible.
Carmen Finestra.
Yeah, but you taped a whole episode, and it took about 40 minutes once I saw you tape the show. You barely had to stop.
Yeah, but the cameras had to move around and do stuff. But I remember clearly that defining moment when I found out I didn't know as much about comedy and people, and it was the first show. That first show where Malcolm walks in, my wife has just sent me up there to kill him.
Oh, we have that scene.
Oh, you have that?
Yeah. You want to see it first? Okay. Okay, sorry. We're going to listen to this. We're going to do the curtain one more time. And we'll see, this is from the very first episode of the
I love show business. It's my life.
Here we go. This is from the very first episode of The Cosby Show.
Hard to get good help, isn't it? Son, mother asked me to come up here and kill you.
Hey, I know.
You know what?
What you gonna say? And it's under control. So, no
problem. Right. How do you expect to get into college with grades like this?
No problem.
Huh?
See, I'm not going to college.
Damn right.
I am gonna get through high school. And then get a job like regular people.
Regular people?
Yeah, you know, work in the gas station, drive a bus, something like that.
So what you're saying is your mother and I shouldn't care if you get D's because you don't need good grades to be regular people.
Right.
Okay. Oh, suppose you graduate from high school. Let's say you just slide by. All right, now you got to find a job. Now, what kind of salary do you expect for a regular person?
$250 a week.
$250 a week?
Yeah.
Sit down. I'm going to give you $300 a week. Yes, indeed. $300 a week, $1,200 a month. All right?
Great, I'll take it.
Yes, you will. And I will take $350 for taxes.
Whoa.
Huh? Yeah. Now, because see, the government comes for the regular people first. Now, how much does that leave you with?
$850.
All right. Now, you've got to have an apartment because you are not going to live here. So, an apartment in Manhattan will run you at least $400.
I live in New Jersey.
All right. You live in New Jersey, you've got to have a car.
I ride a motorbike.
You need a helmet. Figure $100 a month for clothes and shoes.
Figure 200. I want to look good.
Okay, so what's that leave you with?
$200. So, no problem.
There is a problem. You haven't eaten yet.
I can get by on bologna and cereal. So, I got everything I need, plus $200 left for the month.
You plan to have a girlfriend?
For sure.
Regular people. Okay, just let me do this for you. That scene really happened between the two of us. Ennis, I had to go to work, and Ennis's mother said to me, "This boy is talking about being regular people." Well, and at the time, we didn't know that Ennis was dyslexic. And dyslexic people have problems like that. They begin to sort of bottom out. And so I went up to his room. I said, "Come down. I have to leave at 6:30 in the morning, and it's 10:30 at night." I went all the way until it was time to leave, in the same clothes, to go to the airport. And we went over this thing, but I didn't use Monopoly money. That was Ed Weinberger's inventiveness. And I wrote stuff down. He went back and forth, bicycle. Every line belongs to Ennis and to me. When we got to the part, and I'm sure you've all seen it, that he gets up and he says, Dad, you're a doctor, Mom's a lawyer, and you love what you do. And I love you for who you are and what you are, but I just want you to love me for who I am. Now, I wrote that. I wrote it without any, if someone had said, do you think the audience will applaud for him? And I said, no way. People started clapping. Clapping for him. And I'm sitting there as his father, and in my brain I'm going, you know, you're in trouble, man. These people are clapping for this boy. What are you going to do? And I had to make a decision right then and there. And I stayed with it for the parenting issue. That is the dumbest thing. And then the people started clapping again. Yeah, make up your mind. So this whole idea, the duplicity, the contradictions of parenting. Do you want your child to be your friend? Do you know how to raise a friend? Why would you want a friend who can't clean up his room? And we had a psychiatrist, Alvin F. Poussin, who guided us through these scripts and helped us immensely. We had our parents, not as old people who can't think, who are dumb, who can't move, who mess up. You didn't take your medication, Paul. Please, oh God, here to come. No, lively. I told you on the phone, the scene that I loved was when Cliff and Claire are sitting, and Cliff's mother and father said, well, I guess we better be going now. And Cliff said, well, it's so forth and so on, it's early, where you going? He said, we're going home. And Cliff looked at his mother and father and said, and what are you going to do? And they didn't say a word. They just turned and looked at him like, and went out the door. Go ahead.
Mike, just use the microphone.
I wanted to make a point about that show because it showed an African-American family, and it showed it in the best possible light. But it emphasized the importance of family, no matter what the color of the people were. And 2 points. The first one is commercial. It was tremendous for NBC. It anchored the famous Thursday night, which went on year after year after year and really made the network. It was very important to the network. It was on for 8 years, 5 years, #1, but to tell you what the impact was in terms of the audience. The show got about 50 million people every time it was on. The biggest show on television today in a very different environment, American Idol, gets about 21 million. So there were billions of people, billions of impressions, year after year after year, sending a message that television doesn't do enough. And your show, which you created, which you husbanded, which you had such a big impact on, was more than a television show. And in the world we live in today, I mean, I don't want to stretch, but I think a family is probably the best one we can see on television today happens to live in a White House in Washington. And I think you did a great deal to teach, to show the American people that, one, that African Americans are like everybody else, and beyond that, the thing that's important in this country is family.